welcome to What Dwells Beneath, the podcast where we chase shadows, the stories that make your skin crawl and your heart race. I'm your host, Perzival, joined by my producer, Neku, and our research assistant, Cryptid, who's probably digging through some creepy archive as we speak. If you're new here, we're all about true crime and paranormal tales that cling to you like damp fog. Stories that make you question what's out there, watching from the dark. Tonight, we're venturing into the wild, where the trees whisper secrets and the ground shakes with something ancient. We're tracking Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, the wild man of the woods. Is it a creature born of flesh and bone, a spirit guarding the forest's heart, or a myth we've conjured to explain shadows we can't face? Grab your headphones, kill the lights, and step into the wilderness with us. This one's gonna get hairy. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're deep in the Pacific Northwest, camping in a forest so thick it swallows the sky. The air's heavy, laced with pine and wet moss, and the ground soft under your boots, like it's breathing. It's past midnight, and you're alone by the campfire. The flames spitting sparks into the black. The world's quiet, too quiet, like the birds and bugs know something you don't. Then, a sound cuts through, a low, rumbling growl. It's not a bear, it's not a wolf, but it's something else, like it's scraped from the earth's core. Your breath catches. Something moves beyond the firelight. It's heavy, deliberate, and it's snapping branches like a nothing. You squint past the flames and into the gloom, and there it is, a massive figure, 8 feet tall, maybe more, cloaked in shaggy, black fur that seems to drink the darkness. Its eyes glow, not like an animal's, but sharp, knowing, pinning you in place. A sour, musky stench rolls over you, like decay and wild things left to rot. The thing stands there, chest heaving, broad as a doorway, its silhouette blurring into the trees. Then, in a heartbeat, it's gone, melting in the forest without a sound, leaving only the echo of your pounding heart. Was it real? Did you just see Bigfoot? Or did the woods weave a nightmare from the shadows? Tonight, we're diving into the oldest, wildest mysteries out there, the creature that's haunted our forests and our fears for centuries. Let's start with the beast itself, because Bigfoot isn't just a story, it's a presence, something that feels like it stepped out of the trees and changed everything you know. Picture a creature towering 7 to 10 feet, sometimes taller, with a frame so broad it could shove a car off a cliff. Its body's a wall of muscle rippling under shaggy fur, black, brown, sometimes a reddish hue, matted with dirt and leaves, like it's been sculpted by the wild itself. The fur's thick, uneven, clinging to it like a second skin, catching the moonlight in a way that makes it seem half real, half phantom. Its arms are long, dangling almost to its knees, with hands big enough to crush a skull, fingers tipped with blunt, claw-like nails. The shoulders slope into a thick, bullish neck, and the head. It's uncanny. The skull's domed, heavy-browed, framing a face that's both human and not. The nose is flat, ape-like, but the mouth's wide, lips thin, hiding teeth you don't want to see. And those eyes, they're the worst. Witnesses swear they glow, not like a deer's, but a piercing primal intelligence, like they're peeling back your soul. They're set deep, shadowed by the heavy brow, and when they lock on you, it's like the forest itself is staring. Then there's the smell. It hits like a wave, a sour, musky reek. Think wet dog, rotting leaves, and something older, like earth that's never seen the sun. It lingers, clinging to the air, making your stomach churn. Bigfoot moves like a ghost, and that's the scariest part. For something that's heavy, hundreds of pounds, maybe 1,000, it's silent, gliding through dense brush, like it's part of the forest. Witnesses talk about seeing it weave between trees, its massive frame slipping through gaps no human can manage, leaving barely a trace. But at least signs. There are footprints, massive, 15 to 20 inches long, sometimes wider, sunk deep into the mud, snow, or clay. They're human-like, but wrong. Their toes are too long, too spread, with arches that flex in ways ours don't. And the ridges, dermal ridges, like giant fingerprints, etched into the prints, showing skin, texture, life. Hoaxers try, but they rarely nail those details. Bigfoot is strong too, unnaturally so. Stories tell it tossing boulders like pebbles, snapping pines like matchsticks, or hurling logs across clearings. It's been seen carrying deer carcasses, flipping heavy equipment, and even shaking cars like toys. And the sounds. Eerie whoops like a siren lost in the night, rising and falling for miles. Deep, guttural howls that make your bones shake. The screams aren't animal, and they're not human either, but something in between, ripping through the dark. Some hear tree knocks, sharp, rhythmic bangs like wood striking wood, echoing in patterns that feel like a code or possibly a language. Others report rocks thrown from nowhere, landing with thuds that make you run. It's like Bigfoot saying, "You're in my world now." But its elusiveness, that's what gets you. Bigfoot doesn't want to be found. Hunters track it, find prints, hear screams, but it's always one step ahead, vanishing like the forest swallows it whole. Some say it's shy, avoiding us like we're monsters. Others think it's cunning, watching from the shadows we'll never spot, maybe even toying with us. The BFRO, or Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, logs thousands of reports, and they all say the same. It's there, and then it's not. A glimpse, a stench, a footprint, then nothing. What would you do if you caught that smell, heard those knocks? Would you freeze? Would you run? Or would you chase the shadows? Because, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure I'd stick around. Bigfoot is no flash in the pan cryptid. It's been with us forever, its story carved into the bones of the wild. Long before cameras or campfires, Native American tribes across North America knew it, not as a monster, but as a piece of the world's pulse. The Salish people of the Pacific Northwest call it Sasquatch, or the Wild Man, a towering guardian of the forest, watching from the shadows of ancient cedars. They said it walked like a man, stood taller than a warrior, and could vanish into the trees like mist. The Cherokee spoke of Sulalu, the slant-eyed one, a hairy giant haunting the Smoky Mountains. Its foul stench a warning to hunters who strayed too far. The Lumi told Osset Emequest, a creature leaving tracks too big for any man, its glowing eyes spotting trespassers in the dark. The Choctaw whispered of Champi, a nocturnal hunter whose wails froze the swamps, and the Lakota revered Shea Tanka, the big elder brother, a protector judging those who scarred the land. These weren't just stories. They were teachings passed down by elders around flickering fires. Sasquatch could hurl rocks, whistle eerily, or blend into the forest like it was born from it. What's wild is how consistent these tales are, tribe to tribe, coast to coast. A creature 7 to 10 feet tall, covered in dark fur, moving like a phantom, always watching. It wasn't a villain, it was a reminder. The wild has rules, and you're not the boss. When European settlers pushed into North America's frontier, they met Bigfoot too, and their stories carry the same chill. Loggers in the Pacific Northwest, axes in hand, swap tales of wild men stalking the timberline. They'd wake to massive tracks, human, but impossibly large, pressed into the mud outside their camps. They'd hear screams at night, not bear or cougar, but something that made their blood run cold. Trappers in Oregon and Washington reported fleeting glimpses, a hulking figure, fur glinting in the moonlight, gone before they could raise a rifle. One story's burned into cryptozoology lore. A group of miners in Washington's Mount St. Helens area who were held up in a rickety cabin claimed they were attacked by hairy giants. It started with a sighting. Darker shapes on ridges, watching. Then one night, all hell broke loose. Rocks rained down, smashing the roof. Fists or something pounded the walls, shaking the frame. The miners fired the rifles, heard a howl, maybe hitting one. But at dawn, nothing. No bodies, just a battered cabin, scattered rocks, and tracks leading nowhere. The story spread, whispered in saloons and trading posts, fueling the legend. These accounts, tribal teachings, settler nightmares, build a picture of Bigfoot as something more than a beast. It's a force, tied to the wild, slipping through our grasp. Is it a guardian, like the Salish said? A warning, like the Cherokee taught? Or something we've never understood? What do you think these stories are trying to tell us? Bigfoot's not a lone shadow. Across the globe, from snowy peaks to tangled jungles, cultures have their own version of a hairy giant. And the parallels are enough to make your skin prickle. In the Himalayas, Sherpa guides speak of the Yeti, a white-furred colossus stalking the ice-crusted slopes. They say it's taller than a man, with a face like an ape's, leaving footprints in the snow that vanish into the blizzards. Climbers report its screams, high and piercing, echoing across valleys, and some swear they've seen its eyes, red, glowing, watching from the caves. Aboriginal Australians tell of the Yowie, a dark, hairy beast prowling across the outback. It's said to be 7 feet tall, with a stench like rotting fruit, vanishing into the scrub before you can even blink. Witnesses describe its grunt, low and guttural, and tracks or footprints that dwarf a man's boot. In Russia's mountains, the Almasty roams, a bipedal creature covered in reddish fur, dodging hunters with a cunning that feels human. Locals swear it steals livestock under moonlight, leaving broken fences and a sour smell. It cries like a child's wail, haunting the ridges. China's got the Yiren, a red-furred giant in the Hubei's dense forests, standing 8 feet tall with arms that drag through the underbrush. Villagers find trees snapped at impossible heights, and some claim it watches them, silent from the bamboo. Then there's Indonesia's orang pendek, a smaller cousin, maybe 4 feet tall, but still hairy, still elusive, lurking in the rainforests. Its glowing eyes peer from the ferns, and its footprints, small but human-like, dot the mud after storms. What's wild is how these creatures mirror Bigfoot. They're tall, or close to it, covered in fur, bipedal, and tied to the wildest places. Mountains, swamps, jungles, where humans are just visitors. They leave tracks, smells, glimpses, but never enough to pin down. Why does every corner of the world have this figure? Is it a primal fear, etched into our brains from when we huddled in caves? A memory of something we met long ago in the dark? Or a sign that the wild, everywhere, hides something alive, something watching? Let's ground this into something real. Well, as real as it gets when you've been talking about Bigfoot. I dug into the Bigfoot Field Research Organization's, or BFRO's, database, and I found a report, number 61524, from an Oregon trucker in 2018. Let's call him Jake, because he didn't sign his name, and I get why. The story's the kind that makes you rethink driving alone at night. Jake's hauling a freight on Highway 138 near Diamond Lake, deep in Oregon's Cascade Mountains. It's 2 a.m. The road is a ribbon of black, cutting through forest so thick that it feels like a tunnel. No cars, no stars, just headlights stabbing the dark. The radio's off, and the only sound Jake hears is his engine's low hum. Then, out of nowhere, something bolts across the road. Fast. Too fast for anything normal. Jake slams the brakes, tires screeching, and his heart is hammering like it's going to burst through his ribs. He leans forward, squinting, and then he sees it. A massive figure, 9 feet tall, maybe more, he says, moving across the asphalt like it owns the night. Its fur's dark, matted, catching his high beams in a dull sheen. Its arms swing low, almost scraping the ground, and its shoulders are wide, hunched like a linebacker on steroids. The head turns. It's slow, deliberate, and Jake swears he sees its eyes, and they're glowing. Not like a deer's, but it's sharp, it's yellow, and it's pinning him like a bug. They're set in a face he can't unsee. Flat nose, heavy brow, a mouth that's too wide, and just too wrong. It almost looks human, but he swears it's not. Then the smell hits. His window's cracked and the stench rolls in. Sour like rotting meat mixed with wet earth. So thick, it makes his eyes water. The thing pauses, just for a second, standing at the road's edge. Chest heaving. At this point, Jake is frozen. His hands gripping the wheel, praying it doesn't move closer. Then, in a blink, it's gone. Crashing into the trees with a crack of branches. But here's the kicker. It's silent after that. No rustling, no footsteps, just the forest swallowing it whole. Jake sits there, truck idling, sweat beading from his forehead. He's too spooked to move. He checks his dash cam later, hoping for proof, but it's a blur. Something big, dark, and then nothing. Like the camera couldn't even catch it. He filed the report with BFRO, saying he doesn't drive that route often, and he hasn't driven it since. The forest, he said, felt alive, like it was watching him, waiting for him to make the wrong move. The BFRO report notes Jake's story fits a pattern: the speed, the stench, and those eyes. Other reports from the highway mention similar glimpses. Shadows too small, the smells too foul. Is it Bigfoot, a bear on a bad night, or something we don't have a name for? Jake's story sticks with me. That feeling of being alone, exposed, with something out there that knows you're there. So, what is Bigfoot? Let's unpack the possibilities, from the ones that make sense to the ones that make you check under the bed. First, the creature theory. Bigfoot's a flesh and blood animal, an undiscovered primate hiding in the wild. Some point to the Gigantopithecus, a 10-foot ape that roamed Asia 100,000 years ago, eating plants and walking upright. Could its kin have crossed to North America, surviving the forest too dense for us to conquer? The footprints back this up. They're 15 to 20 inches, with a flexible midfoot no bear or human matches. Hair samples too, sometimes test as unknown primate, though skeptics cry contamination. Witnesses describe its behavior: tree knocks, rocks thrown. That feels like a primate's territory marker, not a bear's bluff charge. But skeptics have a point. Maybe it's all misidentification. Black bears can stand 7 feet, rear up, and look like a furry giant in the dusk. Pareidolia, something we recently discussed in our Dark Watchers episode, our brain's trick of seeing faces in the clouds. This could turn a bear into a monster in our minds. Hoaxers don't help, with the gorilla suits and fake tracks. Some say Bigfoot's just that, a prank, a campfire tale spun out of control. The lack of a body, a fossil, a clear photo, it is damning. Trail cams catch bears, deer, but nothing else. Case closed, right? Well, not really. There is weirder stuff. Some say Bigfoot's not flesh, but spirit, tied to native legends of forest guardians. Witnesses report a dread, a gut-deep fear that's more than adrenaline. Others swear they've seen it vanish, like it stepped through a veil. Hikers talk of time gaps, like they're missing hours after an encounter. Some even report of feeling thoughts, warnings, not their own. This theory is that Bigfoot is interdimensional, slipping between worlds. That idea sounds nuts, but it does explain the elusiveness, the way it's here and then gone. That theory does tie into the Goblin universe. We'll get to that one day in another episode, but I will say that to me is a bit far-fetched. Then there is the Patterson-Gimlin film, the grainy holy grail of Bigfoot lore. You've seen it. Patty, a 7-foot female striding through Bluff Creek, California. Her fur rippling, muscles flexing, glancing at the camera like she's annoyed. Believers say no costume could mimic that stride, those proportions. The arms are too long, the neck too short. Skeptics call it a guy in a suit, staged for fame. The debate's endless, but watch Patty's eyes. Is that curiosity, defiance, or a hoaxer's smirk? It's the kind of evidence that keeps you up, wondering. Here's a twist to chew on. What if Bigfoot's not just hiding, but guarding something? Could it be ancient secrets, buried in the wild? Ruins, knowledge, something we're not meant to find. Picture it watching us. Not to hunt, but to warn. Stay out. Native stories hint at this. Sasquatch as the gatekeeper. Maybe those howls, those rocks, are its way of saying, turn back. Beast, spirit, myth, or sentinel. What's Bigfoot to you? Bigfoot's a shadow we can't outrun. From the stylish tales of Sasquatch guarding the cedars to Jake's highway nightmare, it's a creature that lives in the wild and in our bones. 7 to 10 feet tall, a smell that comes from the fur that will make your eyes water. And its mystery, with eyes that pierce the dark and footprints we can't follow. Its howls echo through centuries. Its stench lingers in our fears. Is it a lost primate, scraping by in the last untamed places? A spirit woven in the earth's pulse, or a story we tell to keep the wild alive? To remind us we're not the kings we think we are. One thing's for certain, Bigfoot is out there. Whether it is just tales, or it's in the trees, and the shadows watching, and the forest keeps its secrets. Next time you're hiking, where the trees choke out the sky and the air goes still, listen close. A snap, a whiff of musk, a shadow too tall for a man. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe you're not alone. Thanks for braving the dark with us, listeners. Huge props to Neku and Cryptid for making this episode as creepy as a midnight forest. Do you have a Bigfoot encounter or a theory? Be sure to join our Discord, the Tavern Dwellers, and scroll down to the personal encounter section. There you can fill out a form and tell us what you've experienced. Also, if you would like, you can find the same form on our website, taverndwellers.com. Be sure to rate us on Spotify and Apple. It keeps us chasing these shadows. We're back next week with something a little bit more darker. If you'd like to see more from me, Perzival, I do have a YouTube gaming channel and a few social medias you could follow. All that will be in the episode description. But until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep one eye on the woods.